It's the Local Color Radio Hour!
With great live music, local history, comedy, and much more.
With music by Joe Harden and Maggie Jones. Featuring music by the Numbskulls. With special musical guests, the Boss Tweeds.
Starring Jordan, Maggie Jones, Kevin Jones, the Numbskulls, Dennis Seiler, Katrina Brandley, and Eric Matthews. Also featuring Caroline Spear from the Fort Smith Museum of History.
The Local Color Radio Hour highlights local history, multiple genres of music, unique people, places, and events. Our live shows, podcasts, and special events feature music, skits, interviews, special guests, and more to educate and promote the human interest stories of our amazing communities. We encourage museums and the arts, and to have fun. In cooperation with the Fort Smith Museum of History, local businesses, universities, and other museums and supporters in the area, we explore and celebrate local history, music, and events. Whew. Well, here we are in the archives of Spinning Around Productions once again, and we're going through the Local Color Radio Hour. We've been around since March of 2018, and we've done several live shows, and now you're about to go through some of our podcast episodes, and we really appreciate your support of our live audiences out there and those of you who continue to support local museums and organizations such as the Fort Smith Museum of History. And we've also been very fortunate to be at the Dixie Theater down in Mansfield, Arkansas recently, and the famous King Opera House in Van Buren, as well as other great places such as Greenwood and the historic Darby Junior High in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Special thanks to Jess Gorm of Grand Finale Productions and all of our past production people and our special musical guest. The list is way too long. Thank you so much for all the wonderful and talented people who have helped make these shows what they've become. Thank you very much. Thank you to our wonderful audiences and our local businesses who have supported the Local Color Radio Hour for so many years. If you would like to get in touch with the Local Color Radio Hour for a live show, or if you're interested in more podcasts, contact differentkjones@yahoo.com.
October 8th is Maggie's birthday. And so we should try to sing to her, don't you think? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Maggie. Happy birthday to you.
My mother read this one to me. I read it to my kids. My kids are too big now for me to read poems to at Halloween. So I'm going to read it to you. It's called Little Orphan Annie. It's written by James Whitcomb Riley in 1885. Story.
Not Little Orphan Annie.
Little Orphant. Little Orphant. Although I did read that Little Orphan Annie was somewhat modeled after this one. So anyway, here we go. Little Orphan Annie. Little Orphan Annie's come to our house to stay and wash the cups and saucers and brush the crumbs away and shoo the chickens off the porch and dust the hearth and sweep and make the fire and bake the bread and earn her board and keep. And all us other children, when the supper things is done, we sit around the kitchen fire and has the mostest fun a-listening to the witch tales that Annie tells about, and the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. Once there was a little boy who wouldn't say his prayers, so when he went to bed at night, away upstairs, his mammy heard him holler and his daddy heard him bawl, and when they turned the kivers down, he wasn't there at all. And they seeked him in the rafter room and cubbyhole and press, and seeked him up the chimney flue and everywheres, I guess, but all they ever found was this is Panston roundabout, and the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And one time a little girl had always laugh and grin and make fun of everyone and all her blood and kin. And once when they was company and old folks was there, she mocked him and she shocked him and she said she didn't care. And this as she kicked her heels and turned to run and hide, there was two great big black things a standing by her side. And they snatched her through the ceiling for she knowed what she's about. And the goblins will get you if you don't watch out. And Little Orphan Annie says, when the blaze is blue and the lamp wick sputters and the wind goes, ooh, and you hear the crickets quit and the moon is gray and the lightning bugs and dew is all squinched away, you better mind your parents and your teachers fond and dear and cherish him that loves you and dry the orphan's tear and help the poor and needy ones that clusters all about, or the goblins will get you if you don't watch out.
This kitchen, sit by the fire. Come in this kitchen, sit by the fire. Come in this kitchen, sit by the fire. We're all gonna listen to the local color radio hour.
It's the local color radio hour.
Sit yourself down. Come in this theater.
Live from the King Opera House in Van Buren, Arkansas.
Come in this kitchen, sit yourself down. The local color radio hour is coming to town.
It's the local color radio hour. Live from Van Buren's historic King Opera House. Featuring Joe Harden, Maggie Jones, The Numbskulls, Matt McCoy, Steve Kite, Gary Ududge, and Dangerous Dan Maher. Also starring Caroline Spear from the Fort Smith Museum of History. But wait, there's more. There's also Dennis Seiler and Katrina Brandley, Eric Matthews, and La Nueva Imogen de San Luis.
the children and throw them in the Chevy. Round up the cousins and pile them in the Ford. Round up the family, it's a real good show. The local color radio hour is ready to go. Yes, the local color radio hour is ready to go.
All right, that's our theme song written by Joe Harden, ladies and gentlemen.
Somebody had to do it.
Good evening and welcome to the historic King Opera House, ladies and gentlemen. This theater, built in 1891, known as the Victory Theater and the Bob Burns Theater at one point. This historic and beautiful space saw the likes of William Jennings Bryan and Jenny Lind trod the boards. Thank you for having us back. We are honored to be here again.
It's the Local Color Radio Hour. In case you missed our July 10th show, check out these excerpts brought to you by Jaegers, locally owned and operated, real help, real savings since 1959. And now, here are some selections from our July 10th Local Color Radio Hour show.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a bitter cat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. Sister Rover's crossed over. If I ever have a say, I'll be riches, Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Play it. Good harmonica playing. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. Sister Rover's crossed over. If I ever have a say, I'll be riches, Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Oh yeah. Thank you. My dear, my absent love. One I love, two he loves, three is true
I
to
say,
me.
Shady
One I love,
Grove, my
two he
little
loves, three is true to me. Peaches in the summertime, apples in the fall.
If I can have my one true
love, I
won't have none at all.
One I love, two he loves, three is true
Grove, I
to
say,
me.
Shady
One I love,
Grove,
two
my
he
little
loves, three is true to me.
And now we bring on Caroline Spear from the Fort Smith Museum of History.
Well, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. We're really, really happy that you're here to support the museum.
Though the river's deep with heartache, the river's wide with pain, and every time I take a drink, I swear I won't go back again. No, I won't. Just a game, 'cause the whole world wants to be famous for one day, famous for one day, famous for
And now, the Boss Tweeds!
What's next? We've been writing a lot of new songs, and we're going to have a new record. And if you know the Boss Tweeds, you know, we like to eat.
Yes.
So I think we may call this one Breakfast for Dinner.
All right, let her rip.
All right, we're going to play a tune here for you. Inspired by this young man who always wanted to be a truck driver, but didn't have the skills. So he works at a truck driving firm instead. This is called Arkansas Best Freight Company. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't grind the gears, I don't ball the jack. I don't run down the road like I'm never looking back. I'm just sitting at a desk with a headset on. I've been working dispatch since the break of dawn. But I don't spend my days wishing I was out there. By 5, I'll be home in my underwear. Roll, baby, rolling down the line. Tell me where it's going and we'll make it on time. Drop it on your dock or anywhere you want it to be. Roll, baby, put it in gear. Tomorrow it'll be 1,000 miles from here. North to south, sea to sea, it's the Arkansas's best freight company. Come on, Joe. Well, this ain't the job that I wanted when I was in school. But I paid off the student loans and got a backyard pool. I like to drink on the weekends, but in moderation. I'm a certified purveyor of transportation. Well, I ain't gonna drive it, but somebody else will. I got coffee to drink and forms to fill. Roll, baby, rolling down the line. Tell me where it's going and we'll make it on time. I'll drop it on your dock or anywhere you want it to be. Roll, baby, put it in gear. Tomorrow it'll be 1,000 miles from here. North to south, sea to sea, it's the Arkansas's best freight company. It's the Arkansas's best freight company.
The Boss Tweeds, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now, the Numbskulls.
All right, here we go. Flags moving in the wind on Main Street. Tell the story of the people you'll meet on Main Street. Trains moving slowly live in our town. moving people in and out of our town. And the setting sun reveals all the feelings you will feel in your town, in my town. The setting sun reveals all the feelings you will feel in our town, in your town, in my town. Things without wheels now turn around. Things without words now have sound. Things were lost, but now they're found. 10,000 mirrors turning round. Children laughing, dogs are laughing around me. Memories slowly settling down around me. Air is heavy with the thoughts of what might be. Things and people that you thought you might see. And the light does slowly fade on memories that you have made in our town, beside me, in my town. One more time. And the light does slowly fade on memories that I have made around me, beside me, in my town.
The Numbskulls with Joe Harden, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and now we have a song with many origins going back, known as the Arkansas Traveler, and also the Rack and Sack Waltz, back to the 1840s. Illustrated around 1856, the Arkansas artist Edward Payson Washburn, who gave us the Traveler and the Squatter. J.H. Buford published this in 1859 with a melody designed by a native and dedicated to Sanford Faulkner, with many variations since, and many who claimed rights to the story, song, or the painting. A popular tune and comic sketch since the 1800s, an 1859 hand-colored lithograph is in the collection of Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Bentonville. And now here are Nick Probsfeld, Dennis Seiler, Katrina Brandley, Marion Laird, Joe Harden, and Ralph Hurt with a little bit about the Arkansas Traveler.
hello, stranger.
Well, hello, stranger.
Say, does this road go all the way to Little Rock?
Well, I've lived here 9 to 40 years, ain't gone nowhere yet.
Well, hello again, stranger.
Hello.
You know, your corn looks awfully little and yellow.
Well, that's 'cause I planted the little yeller kind.
Well, hello again, stranger.
Well, hello, stranger.
Say, why don't you fix a hole in your roof? It leaks.
Well, it's raining,
Why don't you cover it when it's not raining?
'cause then it don't leak.
Hello again, stranger.
Hello again, stranger.
You know, you're not very far from a fool, are you?
About 6, 7 feet.
The Arkansas Traveler.
Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Gonna put on my starry crown down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna put on my starry crown down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Ain't gonna study war no more. 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 Ain't gonna study war no more.
Okay, and now we'd like to hear from the thrilling days of yesteryear comes the Ranger, with grand tales of yore, lore, and gore. Long live the Rambler, the wrangling Roaming Ranger, once again, Cody Favor!
that introduction everywhere I go. Thank you so much for having me, your local rambling, roving ranger, and indeed I am a ranger, a park ranger, and I do my best to connect stories of our harrowing past to make it indeed relatable to you, the public, and I want you to care so much about history that you actually care for it. My goal is to get you, the public, as involved as possible with our national parks, with our historic sites, but that comes with a risk, and we'll get back to that. How many of you are enjoying this beautiful fall weather? What beautiful colors we're having this year.
All right.
I think fall is one of those seasons that kind of make us retrospective. It reminds us, like the Caesars of old were apparently told, glory is fleeting. Indeed, it reminds us that things change. The warmth of summer is leaving us. The leaves, although beautiful, will soon change to a sad brown. Enjoy it while you can, they say, as they float to the ground. It's a bittersweet season. And isn't so much of our life like that? You know, history's like that, a mixture of good and bad. My first year working for the park was back in 2008. I was working at the front desk, and I was merrily telling visitors, which included, you know, all these questions, and most of which involved where the bathroom was, for like the 100th time, and we had to do it with a smile. And I was not really prepared, since I was so new, for the conversation I was about to have from a Van Buren resident. The telephone rang. Thank you for calling the Portsmouth National Historic Site. This is Cody. How can I help you? Very professional. And I heard this voice saying, "Hello," the elderly woman replied. "I live here in Van Buren, and I heard you were doing an execution thing today." I knew exactly what she was talking about. On the dates of execution that took place at Fort Smith, we'd put up that number of nooses on the gallows and give a brief discussion on each of the men executed that day, their crimes, their capture, time in court, and subsequent death. It was a crowd pleaser of a program. And let me emphasize here, non-violent in nature. Okay, I told her, "Yes, ma'am, we're having a program on execution that took place in this date over 100 years ago," I happily retorted. The phone went silent for a moment. "Oh," she said, "so you're not actually hanging anybody?" It was my turn to go silent on the phone. "No, ma'am, we're just talking about a historic execution." "Oh," she replied back again. I heard a slight tinge of, dare I say, disappointment. She continued, "Because you see, I have friends in town, and I was going to bring them by for it. I'm not making this up." At this point, I became somewhat offended and replied to her by saying, "Ma'am, we are the National Park Service. You know, like Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon. We don't hang people." Okay? A broad range of humanity drives, walks, or bikes their way into our national parks, and they bring with them all of society's strengths and weaknesses. Like fall, like history, like people, you, me, us. We are a mixture of good and bad, are we not? We have good qualities, bad qualities. Visitors prove themselves again and again capable of great courtesy, kindness, and understanding, as well as some folly and foolishness. We often say in the Park Service there are no such thing as stupid questions, but there are inquisitive idiots. We heard questions such as, "Where's Rooster Cogburn buried? My grandma said he was my uncle." Sorry, but your grandma lied to you. Okay? At a living history event, I've actually been asked before personally, "Is that fire real?" Yeah. Stick your hand in there and find out, sunshine. Okay? At other national parks, these are some great ones. I've heard rangers tell me some of their favorite visitor questions. Would you like to hear some of the visitor questions? At what elevation do deer turn into elk? Or how much of this cave is underground? Or at the sites of like archaeological digs, like Mesa Verde or something like that. How many undiscovered archaeological sites are there? Or at Buffalo River, I've actually had one ranger say that they actually got asked, "Does the river only run downstream?" Yikes. At Mesa Verde, again, park rangers are often asked this, why did the Indians build ruins? Or my absolute favorite and last funny joke here, why are so many Civil War battles fought on national park property? It's true. There you go. There's roads to it. Both sides see the signs. There's all these massive monuments to hide behind, manicured lawns.
side of the road. Think I should call her, but she already knows that I'm gone. Gone, yes, I'm gone. Shouldn't have left, shouldn't have treated her wrong. Joe Harden. Was the best thing I've ever had, but I'm gone. Gone, yes, I'm gone. Shouldn't have left, shouldn't have treated her wrong.
Joe Harden, Eric Matthews.
Yeah.
Great job, fellas. Okay.
Tom?
And now, a word from our sponsors, the Mayonnaise Advisory Council. Are you tired of the red menace ketchup when you consider condiments for your hot dog? Are you disenchanted with the sharp rudeness of mustard for your burger? The members of the Mayonnaise Advisory Council find the best new ideas to help mayonnaise solve all of your condiment problems. We provide training, tools, expert advice to transition mayonnaise as your go-to food. We are proud to support the local Color Radio Hour. Remember, the Mayonnaise Advisory Council, where mayonnaise isn't just a condiment choice, it's our passion.
I know dark clouds will gather around me. I know my way is rough and steep. Yes, hills will rise before me. They're God's redeemed, their vision seen. I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there no more too long. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going
Phone rang at 2:30 a.m., rousing me from a beautiful dream that is groggy and massively disappointed. I grabbed the phone and muttered, "Hello."
Doc, you need to get out here now. I got a cow down. She won't get up.
"What? Who is this?" I managed to reply.
It's me, Larry Detweiler. You got here now?
Of course. Who else could it be? Well, there was nothing to be gained by laying around. All right, Larry, I'm leaving now. I pulled on my clothes, grabbed my boots, and jumped in the truck. Took almost half an hour to get there, with my headlights providing the only light on a moonless night. Along the way, I couldn't help but think about the lecture Jack Pritchard gave at the state conference last year. You know Pritchard. He's got that big office over by Alma. Always talks clients into making their kids work for him for free. Oh, your son wants to be a vet? Great, I'll show him the ropes. Then the kid spends all summer washing Pritchard's truck and getting his groceries. It's a great internship for your college application, he says when they complain. Anyway, Pritchard said that he has a simple way of dealing with these guys who wait until dark 30 to call. I just tell my new clients straight up front that I expect them to be responsible and call as soon as something seems wrong. The tone of my voice and my reputation is enough. You just have to lay down the law ahead of time. Yeah, right. We all know that Pritchard just triples the bill anytime someone calls him after 9 p.m. and then threatens to put the word out that they don't pay. And if there's anything vets hate worse than getting out of bed at 2:30 in the morning, it's trying to collect payment due.
Doc, what took you so long? Let's get out there. You can drive us if you want, or we can walk. It ain't but a couple 100 yards to her.
Knowing the depth of the ruts in Larry's pasture in the pitch black night, I opted for the walk. Naturally, Larry's couple 100 yards turned out to be closer to a mile. All along the way, I kept thinking about Jack Pritchard, snug and warm in his bed with his new truck every other year, and his weekly golf outings at Hardscrabble, and his keynote addresses. When we finally got to the cow, I turned my flashlight on her and gave her a quick appraisal.
Well, what do you think, Doc?
I turned to him, keeping my light on the animal. Based on my years of schooling and experience, Larry, I'd have to say she's dead.
Dead? Can't be. I've been checking on her all evening.
And did she ever move in that time?
Come to think of it, I don't believe that she did.
Now, Larry was by no means the sharpest knife in the drawer under the best of circumstances. My nose told me that he'd been in the cough medicine as well, which would not help things.
I still can't believe she's dead.
Then how you explain her legs sticking straight up in the air like that? You know how people call dead bodies stiffs? That's where that comes from.
All right, so maybe you're right. What can I do about it?
Do about it? I can call the meat locker to come get her.
No, I mean she can't be all the way dead. Use some of your doctor tricks and get her back.
Larry, I can assure you that bovine resurrection was not part of the curriculum at vet school. We could try a priest, but I don't think he'd be of any more help. This cow's as dead cows come, and she's going to stay that way.
What do you think that killed her?
I shone the flashlight around the body. Even in the relatively weak light, the tire tracks going up to the cow, tracing over her body, then continuing on were obvious. Larry, were you driving around out here today?
Nope. But I did send that Donnie Tatro boy out there to do some work on the fence this afternoon.
The whole Tatro clan was dense enough to make Larry look like a Harvard man, and Donnie was the dumbest one of all.
Now that you mention it, when he got back, he said he thought he ran over something. So he backed up and looked, but he didn't see anything. So he just went on back to work.
I'm no detective, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Donnie ran her over, repeatedly.
Huh. What do you know about that? Guess that would explain why the front end of my truck was all messed up.
What time did you find her?
In the back. Oh, must have been about 3 in the afternoon.
And you waited 12 hours to call me?
Well, sure. I didn't want to bother you while you were working.
Good night, Larry. But in the future, when deciding whether to call me, I want you to remember 3 things. First, if the cow isn't breathing and her legs are sticking straight up in the air, she's dead. So don't call me. Second, if that's all true and you do decide to call me anyway, do it between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., okay? And third, if you decide to ignore points 1 and 2, call Doc Pritchard over by Alma. He loves late night calls.
And now we bring out the numbskulls once again.
What?
Them again? Who let those guys in here?
Who let those guys in here?
This song was inspired by events that happened a long time ago to me. about 35 years ago. I saw some clotheslines, and it was a clothesline that had a big T, another T in the middle, and then a third T. And it was on this hill. And when I saw these clotheslines, it struck me that it reminded me of Calvary, right? So I started thinking clotheslines as crucifixes. 14 years ago, I was renting a house from here at UW on 19th Street, and I was sitting there watching my laundry dry, and this song fell into my head, and without effort, it just fell into my head. And we're willing to wager that this is probably the most rocking song about doing the laundry that you have ever heard.
Stand strewn on the line, vines of washed out memories of time, cleansed of oil, soils and stains, ready to be sullied again. Redemption rings from these capital T's, as sparrows chirp in tubular belfries. Do 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 do, signs of resurrection. Do 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 do, on three connections. Do 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 do, crucified transgressions. Suspended and animate, our clothes await memories to fill them on the next date. Each pilgrim's God as memories unfold, disrobe the protection, ours to behold. Clotheslines disclose those memories of old, hidden from view, where fresh and new. Do 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 do, cleansed of our impurity. Do 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 do, forgiven by our Trinity. Do 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 do, walk us through in unity. Stands erect on its head, full of memories best left unsaid. Others fall sideways, asleep on the line, containing untold hours of wasted time. Most stand upright like soldiers at dawn, only to face the doom on the lawn. Do 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 do, hear the kingdom come. Do 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 do, walk us through reborn. Close before it's born. Stand strewn on the line, vines that have washed out memories of time, cleansed of oils, soils and stains, ready to be sullied again. Redemption rings from these capital T's, the sparrows chirp into the belfries. Do 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 do, signs of resurrection. Do 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 do, on three connections. Do 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 do, crucified transgressions.
Thank you.
Thank you, fellas. Good job.
Well, there you go.
Is that right, Caroline? Check me on that, will you? 1898. 1898. We get that from the fact checkers. That's why we have them here on the share, because they're here to double check me all the time. That's good. That's actually one thing we wanted to talk about was the history of Darby Junior High, first named in 1955. Is that correct? Okay, why don't you just come on out here? Lisa Gramlich, ladies and gentlemen. Lisa Gramlich's out here. And catch any one of these mics, any one of them you want. And I wanted you to tell them, what was the first time you were on this stage? How old were you?
I was 5 years old. In 1964, I had my first dance recital right here on this stage. Oh, it was... And there's a funny story that goes with it. The week before, I was practicing in my parents' living room, and I ran into a wall and broke my toe. Now, my costume was a Hawaiian costume, and we were dancing barefoot. And I was so concerned about wearing a Band-Aid on my toe. That was a big deal. I didn't worry about my toe hurting or not being able to dance. I just didn't want anybody to see my Band-Aid from the audience. So my first experience in dance and ballet was right here on this stage. From there, I took dance always from Cecile School of Dance, Elaine School of Dance. I danced with the University of Arkansas Dance Company, the Fort Smith Civic Ballet, and taught ballet for 20 years. And it all started right here, so it's pretty cool to be back here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. There is a historic front drop fire curtain that's here. Can you tell us a little bit about that fire curtain? Do you know anything about it?
That curtain is from 1911. It is absolutely amazing. And seeing it from the back, through the years, students have signed their names on the back of this curtain. So when it's down and you look from up here, you can see as far back as the 20s, the 30s.
Student graffiti from the 1920s.
Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. That needs to be preserved.
And part of that preservation as well, in October of 2016, there were tours here.
Yes.
Joe Wasson and a few other people offered tours through here. And one of the things they talked about was that curtain, which was hand-painted in France under the auspices of the Kansas City Scenic Company. And on this stage, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys played here. Jazz great Stan Kenton, brother Dave Gardner, the A.P. Carter family, you may have heard of them. How about Paul Harvey? You may have heard of Paul Harvey, right? They were all on this stage. Also, Eleanor Roosevelt spoke here in 1940 on this very stage.
Yes, for the Municipal Auditorium, what we know today as the Art Best Performing Arts Center, it was opened in 1966. Before that was available, a lot of community events were held right here on the stage. The auditorium is larger and can seat a good audience. And so this was where everybody passing through or having their first dance recital or their high school plays, whatever, were right here on this stage. So I can just imagine who's walked these boards. Lots of interesting people.
Thank you very much, Lisa Gramlich, Executive Director of the Fort Smith Museum of History. Thank you all very much. Now we bring on an old friend, Marcus Woodward. Historian, teacher, philanthropist, volunteer, all-around good guy. Marcus Woodward.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to admit, I have to read it from my script, so forgive me. I stand in this place and admire of two men who went to school here, my father, Marcus Allen Woodward, and William Orlando Darby. They were a year apart in age. My father graduated in 1928 and went to work in a print shop. William O'Darby graduated in 1929 and went to West Point. At the end of World War II, Dad came back a second lieutenant, and William O'Darby came home with a posthumous promotion to Brigadier General. When I entered the doors of this school in the 1960s, it was no longer Fort Smith High School, but now Darby Junior High, in honor of the fallen hero. Small for my age, I made the mistake of telling Coach that a 16-year-old seventh grader stole my Timex watch. Somehow I survived the next 2 weeks, but I will always remember stomach checks.
Hey, Woodward.
I will always remember stomach checks in the gym class. Coach would line us up on our numbers in the old gym and see how tough we were by hitting us in the stomach. Lawsuit city today, but everyday life back then. As a teacher here in the 1980s and 1990s, I enjoyed the bonfires we had in the practice field before the whole student body marched en masse to Northside High School to use their field for the big game. It was nice being in fresh air after choking on cigarette smoke in the teacher's lounge. How things have changed, my friends. However, my finest moment as a teacher here came when a parade was held downtown to honor the dwindling Darby's Rangers. As student council sponsor, I arranged for one of our students to carry the painting of General Darby wearing his posthumous stars in front of the Darby Junior High banner and band. Commentators in the grandstand could not understand why a gap existed in the parade, but I knew. Many of Darby's Rangers stood in the middle of the street to take photographs of the painting of General Darby. We could not march, nor did we dare. Tears streamed down some of those faces as they snapped the shots of their beloved fallen hero. This school, this hall, holds many more memories than any one person can tell. Thank you.
Marcus Woodward, historian, teacher, recent author of a novel, Landfall in Oblivion. Some of you may have read it. It's out there now.
We're going to sing one final song, just a version of Silent Night for you.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
The Van Buren High School Choir.